What's up, y'all? It's Sports Kid here with the 2023 college football season predictions series. Today, we're doing the Colorado Buffaloes. All the hype is around Colorado, pretty much with Deion Sanders becoming their new head coach, bringing in an insane transfer portal, and hopefully revitalizing the Colorado football team. Let's get into it. Colorado had a 1-11 record last year with one win over the University of California, Berkeley. This year, the sportsbooks don't think that Colorado is going to be much better, thinking between 3 and 4 wins. So 2 or 3 more wins is good, but not when you're 1-11 the previous year. In terms of returning production, 6 offensive players and 3 defensive players return. No players from Colorado were drafted in the offseason. The 2023 recruiting class that Deion Sanders brought in is the 21st best in the country. He also brought in the second best transfer class. 5 stars. Let's talk about them. There's one 5-star commit this year. It's a big deal though. Cormani McClain from Lakeland, Florida. He plays cornerback, 6'2", 165, top 15 national player, and is the #1 cornerback in the whole country. He is going to be an immediate starter for Colorado, along with Travis Hunter, who I'll get to in a minute. 3 4-star recruits came in this cycle, one of them being Dylan Edwards, the 4-star running back from Kansas. Top 250 player nationally and the second best player from the state of Kansas. He will be a backup running back for Alton McCaskill, who I'll talk about in a minute. Along with those 2 players, Deion brought in 17 3-star recruits and 2 other 4-stars. 6 of those total recruits, all of them are going to be freshmen. They'll all be on the squad and ready to go. Six of those 21 players are wide receivers. Very wide receiver heavy class. Very important position, obviously, for a football team who passes the ball a lot. And you usually have 3 or 4 wide receivers on the field at a time. 6 of them in that class, that is kind of a lot, but all good. Transfers. This is really where Colorado sort of showed up on the hype list. Travis Hunter played for Jackson State. Shedeur Sanders played for Jackson State. Jackson State is where Deion Sanders coached last year. I think that was his only year there. He went, I think, 11-1. It was 11-1 or 12-1. Travis Hunter was the #1 player in the 2022 recruiting class, so he's going to be a sophomore. #1 player in that class, committed to Florida State originally, then he switched his commitment to Jackson State. Now he's following Deion to Boulder. Shedeur Sanders is Deion Sanders' son, one of them. He plays quarterback. He is also following Coach Prime from Jackson State. Travis Hunter, I think, is the only 5-star in the whole transfer portal. And Shedeur Sanders, another very good player. We'll have to see how he plays out. He's definitely not bad, though. He is one of the 4 stars in this transfer class. Along with him are Des Moines Kennedy, who plays linebacker. He's transferring in from Alabama. And Alton McCaskill, who would be the starting running back. He is transferring in from the University of Houston. Go Cougs. Sad to lose him. Along with those 3 players, there is another 4-star. He plays wide receiver, coming in from South Florida. And then there are 43. 43. That's almost enough to fill like half a roster. 43 players come in that are 3 stars. There's one 2-star, I think. But in total, that means 73 new players that did not play on the Colorado Buffaloes team last year will be playing. That is a complete roster overhaul. Um, a lot of the transfers are pretty good. A lot of the recruits that are going to be true freshmen are not bad. The big thing that we don't know about Colorado is how good they're actually going to be. They have potential. They have the talent. Will all these new players from all across the country play well together? A lot of them did play at Jackson State. I think there were like 10, around 10-ish transfers in from Jackson State. But will everyone else play well together? Get on the same page? I don't know. That is to be determined. That's why I'm giving this offense rating a 7 out of 10. 7 being good. Above average, definitely. They have the talent. The offense could be very good. Could be very high scoring. Haven't seen them play together, so not like an 8 or a 9 or a 10, which are just elite. Defense is sort of the same way. A lot of high 3-star or middle 3-star transfers on the defense coming in, along Demoy Kennedy and Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter plays offense and defense. He also plays wide receiver as well as cornerback. Defense is there. There is talent. I don't know if it will be as good as the offense. It could probably be a 6.5 out of 10. Still, it could be good. Could be good. Unproven, though. Haven't seen it play. Now, this is what we have all really been wanting and waiting for. Here is the schedule. I'm going to go through, and I will be putting these teams on this sort of tier list, whether it would be a big or close win for Colorado, a toss-up, or a close or big loss for the Buffaloes. Schedule difficulty is an A-. They play three or four very good teams from the Pac-12, and then they play TCU, National Championship runner-ups, as well as Nebraska, a Big Ten team. Colorado State, absolutely terrible. It's their only like really easy game on the schedule though. So an A- for schedule difficulty. At the end, I will give a projected record. Let's get into it. TCU is going in the close win category. Now, TCU are the national championship runner-ups, and the game is in Fort Worth, but Deion Sanders is totally going to hype his team up as much as he can, and I think Colorado is going to go into Fort Worth and walk away with a victory and get Coach Prime his first victory at Colorado to start the season off well. TCU is definitely not going to be as good as they were last year. They lose a lot of players. I don't know the exact number. I know they lose a lot of talent to the draft and to graduation. A lot of young players on that team, I think. I don't know. Is Colorado ready? Are they going to go in and win that game? I think so. TCU, I don't know if the talent's there for really the whole season. So I think Colorado's going to win that game. Close, but close is like within 10 points. They played last year and TCU blew out Colorado, but part of the reason Colorado's 1-11 last year. Next is Nebraska. Nebraska is not good. Nebraska isn't good. I believe that they have a new head coach there, Matt Rule. Don't quote me on that. From the NFL team, the Carolina Panthers. This is a rivalry game. Very heated, actually. Probably Colorado's biggest, maybe second biggest rivalry. Against Nebraska. This is the first home game of the season in Boulder. I think Colorado might be able to win this game if they have momentum, I guess, from the previous week. Nebraska still has a lot to improve on, sort of, and get better at. I don't remember the record from last year, but I definitely know it wasn't good. They play in the Big Ten West, one of the worst teams in that division. But I still think, as it being a rivalry, it'll be a toss-up. If it was in Lincoln, Nebraska, I would probably say it's a close loss, actually, because it gets wild there. But it's in Boulder, Nebraska. I don't know how good they're going to be specifically with their new head coach. So that is why I'm going to say this is a toss-up. It could win, but also Colorado could win. Next team is Colorado State. They were absolutely dreadful last year, one of the bottom 7 teams in the whole country, along with Colorado. But I think Colorado, if they don't have a win yet, this is where they're going to get their win. At home for Colorado State, their biggest or second biggest rival, along with Nebraska. Colorado State is coming off of their bye week, so they're refreshed, I guess. Colorado's going to blow them out, though. It's going to be a big win for the Buffaloes. Next is Oregon. Oregon is one of the top teams in the Pac-12, and that is why Colorado will get their first big loss in this week. On the road in Eugene, it is a very tough environment. Oregon has a very high-scoring offense, and I don't know if the CU defense will be able to hold them. So Oregon, definitely a big win for them. Next is USC. USC has the reigning Heisman winner. I should totally know his name. His name's escaped. Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams. Name is no longer escaping me. Caleb Williams, reigning Heisman winner for USC. The USC offense also is extremely good, along with the Oregon offense. Defense is definitely up there. This is a home game for Colorado, but I think USC will make a Pac-12 championship run, and Colorado will be part of one of their many Pac-12 wins this season. Arizona State is next on the schedule. They're going in that close win category along with TCU. It is a road game, so they're going to go to Tempe. Arizona State, I believe, has a new coach. Their previous coach got fired like 2 or 3 games into the season. They were dreadful. I think 3-9 was their record last year. They're a pretty consistent, sort of middle of the pack team, Arizona State. But they are definitely regrouping. They're bringing in one of the top transfer portals. It might not be a top transfer portal, but they have some of the most players. I think it's like 40 players transferring into Arizona State. If you want to see some more in-depth Arizona State stuff, go watch my Arizona State schedule preview video posted like a week ago, along with the Arizona video, who Colorado also plays in as their 9th game. Colorado should win that game. Arizona State, I don't think is going to be very good. It's on the road again. I don't think that's going to be a big factor. Colorado should win that game. There you have it. Stanford is another pretty miserable team. They should definitely be one of the worst, along with Colorado State, in the whole country. Stanford is coming off of a bye week, so they're regrouped, refreshed, I guess, from whoever they got blown out the week before. I don't think that's going to make a difference, and Colorado should definitely get a big win here, and the game is in Boulder. Everything in Colorado's best interest for the game against Stanford. Now we're here. We are a little bit over halfway into the season. I think Colorado will have won their games against Stanford and Colorado State. 2 wins, probably a win at least against TCU or Arizona State, one of them. I'll say 3 wins. And then maybe 4 wins by this point in the season. They could be 3-4 or 4-3. I think this front part of the season is where they get a lot of their wins. For the rest of the season, it is a little bit more difficult. UCLA is a team who I think is going to be middle of the pack, probably 8-4. Just thinking about it, total guess, but UCLA feels like an 8-4 team this year, and it's on the road, so I think it will be a close loss for Colorado. I think UCLA loses some of their top players. No environment in Los Angeles for the Bruins, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. Colorado is probably not going to win that game. Next is Oregon State, a team I am very high on in the Pac-12. I think it will be a close loss for the Buffaloes. It's a home game. They do not have to go to Corvallis, Oregon. Oregon State gets DJ Uiagalelei as their new starting quarterback. He's transferring in from Clemson. You know you're a big deal when you play at Clemson. He got replaced by a backup, true freshman, but still a big deal, right? Probably going to be a top 4 or 5 quarterback in the Pac-12. A little bit underrated, I think, is going to be Oregon State. So another close loss will probably come in that week for the Buffaloes. The next game on schedule is Arizona. If you're interested, go watch my Arizona video with their schedule preview. Spoiler alert, I think they're going to be a little bit better than they have been for the past couple seasons. That's why I'm also putting Arizona in the toss-up category along with Nebraska. Not that those teams are comparable, but I think Arizona, they're not bad. Arizona is not bad. A home game in Boulder, I don't know if that's going to make a difference. We'll have to see, because I don't think Colorado home games get that much attention. Probably this year, because there's so much hype around them. Arizona, really a toss-up. I think Colorado could win. Arizona could win. It depends on how the teams are playing at the time. If they're on good winning streaks or losing streaks, or if they have injuries. Colorado, if they lose to UCLA and Oregon State, things are not going well. So if that is the case, I think they could lose to Arizona, but again, sort of a toss-up, really. Second to last game of the season is against the Washington State Cougars. This is a road game, so they are going to travel to Pullman, Washington, in probably the snow. It'll probably also snow in Boulder, so no biggie. Like one of the highest altitudes in the country for a football stadium in Boulder. But definitely downpours in Pullman, Washington. And I don't know if that's going to be a big factor. But I also don't know if Colorado is going to win that game. That is another game that I think could totally be a toss-up. Washington State, not going to be fantastic this year. Probably bowl eligible, maybe 7-5 is what I'm immediately thinking for Wazoo. And one of those wins could be over Colorado. Maybe not. Maybe Colorado gets a good win here. I don't know. I think that's why I put it in the toss-up category, really. Finally, Colorado has a game, obviously. Game 12 against their rivals. I don't know if it's like a bitter rivalry or sort of a forced rivalry. But CU is playing Utah. Utah is the back-to-back reigning Pac-12 champions. They are returning their starting quarterback, Cam Rising. He is very good. Probably first or second team all Pac-12. That is why, primarily, I think this is going to be a big loss for Colorado. Excuse me. Utah will definitely be one of those top three or four teams in the Pac-12, and Utah won't, and Colorado won't. Excuse me. Definitely a good win for Utah. I don't know if Colorado has beat Utah in the last 5 or 6 years, as they've just been miserable. Definitely a rebuilding year for the Buffaloes. Definitely. And if Deion Sanders hangs around for a while, I think Colorado could be good. They might win a Pac-12 championship eventually, but not this year. My projected record for the Buffaloes is 5-7. 5-7. Oh my gosh, they could totally win more games than that. I don't think so. I think this is going to be not a bowl eligible team, but absolutely improved from 1-11. You can't really, well, you could get worse than 1-11, but you won't. You won't, because this is going to be a much better team. 4 wins, improved, I think is pretty good. I don't think they're gonna make a bowl game. I think they could. I don't think that they will, though. I think their wins are going to be against Stanford and Colorado State, probably TCU and Arizona State, and then at least one win in the toss-up category against Nebraska, Arizona, or Washington State. I could see them probably potentially losing to TCU and maybe winning 2 games in the toss-up category. I don't see them winning any game. I don't think they have even a chance in the big loss category, or really the close loss. They could potentially upset UCLA. At best, maybe 7-5. At worst, probably 4-7. I'm taking a lower end of things here. 5-7. Did I say 4-8? 4-8. 5-7 is my projected record. If you disagree with me, comment down below why. Tell me some games that they're actually going to win. Tell me, give me some more info about the team. If you are a Colorado football fan, if those are a thing, let me know in the comments. What do you think about Deion Sanders? Is it going to be good? Is this team overrated? Are they underrated? Let me know. Anyway, until the next episode, whatever. Until the next season prediction, peace.